Everyone, welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So, today I wanted to do a video of my top 10 Star Trek series episodes. And this spans from the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, and Enterprise and Discovery. It's not going to be no Discovery ones in here, people. There's really not going to be no Discoveries in here. And I also want to talk about a little bit of why they're in my top 10 list. Usually, with my favorite episodes of Star Trek is, I usually have at least two reasons why they've been near and dear to my heart. So, without any further ado, now a lot of people always say, I'm going to give a top 10 list, but they're not going to be in any particular order. Mine is going to be in a particular order. I'm going to start from 10. I'm going to work my way down to my favorite of all Star Trek episodes. Now, it fluctuates their position, either one up or one down, depending on my mood, what's going on in my life, stuff like that. But it's pretty much these same 10 on the list, and in generally this order. So, without further ado, and I'll put the episode list and where you can find them and stuff like that down in the description. So if you want to take a look at them, you'll be able to find them a lot easier. So we'll start off with 10. And 10 is basically two episodes, but it's one story. And I'm going to have to say that was Star Trek The Next Generation's All Good Things. Now, the two things that I figure encompassed that episode the most to me was beginnings and endings, okay? It took us full circle from the story that was The Next Generation. It had a lot to talk about as far as mental illness and finishing what we left off and remedying things with people who we love and a little bit of regret. But I really like that episode. So that is my number 10. My number 9 episode would be Star Trek Enterprise's Dear Doctor, and that was season 1, episode 13. And to me, that episode encompasses the two things of truth and interference. Now, without giving too much about that episode away, they were basically in a dilemma which ended up becoming the basis for the Prime Directive. And the position that Dr. Phlox was in and the position that Captain Archer was in was really deep. And I've often wondered what decision I would have made if I were in that same situation. So I really dug it for that. So number 8 would be Deep Space Nine's Trials and Tribulations. And that's season 9, episode, I forget. But to me, that episode is fun and nostalgia. Okay, they digitally pasted themselves onto the original series episode, The Trouble with Tribbles, and it was just so well done. Two of my favorite captains in the same episode. How could you even go wrong with that? So number 7 would be Star Trek: The Next Generation's The Inner Light, and that is season 5, episode 25. You remember when episodes had 20s and stuff? Now they all 8, 10, and worse. But anyway, the inner light. And to me, the inner light, the two things that it represented were environment and appreciation. Okay. They were in a situation where basically the world that Picard was ending. It's a lot more going on with this, but I'm not going to give it away. But basically, the world that Picard was on was ending, and they had to find a way to put out their information, to show a history of their culture and who they were. So I thought that was really well done. All the acting in that one, Patrick Stewart brings his A game on a lot of things. That's why they call him Sir, I guess. Except for the movies. Oh my God. Movie Picard. Well, we know how I feel about movie Picard. We know how I feel. Anyway, so my 6th on the list is going to have to be Deep Space Nine episode Once More Into the Breach, season 7, episode 7. And to me, this represents old age and legacy. And it was such a great way to send off the last Daha master of the Klingon Empire. Now, first, let me just say that you think about how badass you gotta be to where just to even face you in combat, not even face you in the combat, to trade insults with you, and you live to tell the rest of your people you become a Daha master. Think about how bad Kirk was. All three of the Daha masters that are all three people who engaged Kirk in some kind of way. That's why the Klingons is always beelining. If Kirk was alive now, there would be no the Kittima Accords would be over. Everybody would be trying to kill Kirk. That's just how it goes. That's how badass Kirk is. So, but it was a great send off, and it was a great examination of age and how you want to be remembered, being older and stuff like that. So I thought that was such a touching episode. Now, number 5 is going to be The Conscience of the King, the original series episode 13 from season 1. Now, The Conscience of the King goes into fanaticism and regret to me. And this was another one of those really deep and well acted episodes. The original series had a lot of well acted episodes because they couldn't rely too much on, so high expensive production and stuff like that. So they put a lot into their acting and into the writing and story and the things that they selected. And Conscience of the King is a really good example of that. Number 4 would be Voyager's Timeless, season 5, episode 6. And to me, that represents brotherhood and post-traumatic stress, okay? Or camaraderie, I should say, and post-traumatic stress. And Timeless to me is just one of the better episodes of Voyager. Voyager has about 5 really good episodes spent in that season, maybe more, it depends on how I feel that day, but Timeless is definitely amongst the best of them to me, okay? So, number 3 would be Deep Space Nine, The Visitor, season 4, episode 3. And to me, that encompasses family and second chances. Now, this is the one that I'm so not going to give away. You have to watch this one. And I don't know if it was nominated for an Emmy or a Grammy or something like that, but it not only should have been nominated, but it should have won. It also has one of my greatest people in it, Tony Todd. Tony Todd is awesome. Tony Todd, I was looking at Babylon 5, A Call to Arms, a little bit earlier today, and just having Tony Todd in the series is in whatever you do is always awesome. So number 2 would be City on the Edge of Forever from the original series, and to me that encompasses that represents loss and duty, and this one pulls at my heartstrings every time. Pulls at my heartstrings every time. I'm not even going to even talk about that one. Just besides the fact, I'll just say this: that episode has one of the top 10 strongest entities ever pictured in Star Trek canons. Just so you know, a little tidbit there. The Guardian of Forever is his name. But anyway, and number one all-time favorite Star Trek episode of all time is going to have to be Far Beyond the Stars, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, season 6, episode 13. And it deals with racism and possibilities. Wow. And this is another one that should have been nominated and won. Now, I'm going to give shout out to three honorable mentions. That's going to be Darmok from The Next Generation, season 5, episode 2. Duet from Deep Space Nine, season 1, episode 19. And Blink of an Eye from Voyager, season 6, episode 12. So, I give honorable mentions to those, but I just wanted to say that Far Beyond the Stars was such an awesome episode. And that, City on the Edge of Forever was my all-time favorite episode until I seen Far Beyond the Stars. And there you go. So, let me know what you guys think of the top 10 list. Let me know your top 10 list. And if you've seen any of these episodes, let me know what you thought about them. But again, I'll leave the descriptions and the comments. And I'll leave the top 10 list in the descriptions and what season and episodes you can find them, just in case you want to watch. As always, peace and recycle. Save the whales.